Hello there, this is going to be part 4 of the story. If you haven't seen the first 3 parts yet, I highly recommend seeing those first, or else this likely won't make any kind of sense to you. But without further ado, let's get back into the story. So we jump back in during Thor Ragnarok. Odin has just died, and Hela has returned. Thor and Loki end up on Sakaar as in the original timeline. Thor walks into the arena to win his freedom and prepares to face the champion. The doors open and a bolt of lightning bursts out and a familiar theme song begins playing. The lightning strikes on the ground and explodes. The dust clears to reveal the gold Zeo Ranger. Thor screams yes and yells to the Grand Master, telling him he's a friend from work. Thor turns to the Ranger and asks Jason how he is, tells him what's happened to him recently. The Ranger only responds telling him he is not Jason, and the Ranger raises his staff and calls out for a gold rush and sprints towards Thor. Thor jumps over him and fights him hand to hand. Thor is thoroughly enjoying himself, not fighting hand to hand since New Mexico. The Gold Ranger launches himself back and shoots energy spheres at Thor, and they knock him down. Thor sees visions of Odin and he stands to his feet with blue glowing eyes. The Gold Ranger raises his staff and charges it up as Thor begins to spark and raises his arms. The two shoot lightning bolts at each other, they collide and explode. Thor jumps through the smoke and punches the Gold Ranger with an electrified fist and he flies back into the wall. Thor marches up to the Gold Ranger, but is shocked by the Grand Master. The Gold Ranger gets up and performs a finishing combo on Thor, and he falls to the ground. Thor wakes up in his quarters and looks across to see a man dressed in black and gold stood at the window looking to the horizon. Thor asks who he is and he turns and tells him his name is Trey of Triforia, and he is the Gold Ranger he faced in the arena. Thor asks that if he's from Triforia, then why is there only one of him? And Trey responds telling him the Grand Master's fortress has an energy field that restricts powers from being used, unless it's within the arena. Trey asks Thor how he knows Jason, and Thor tells him they're part of a team of heroes on Earth, and they sparred a couple of times. Thor asks how he got there, and Trey tells him that a few months ago, Trey was travelling through in his Zord Pyramidus, and it was shot down above Sakaar by the Grand Master, and then he was captured by his Asgardian friend. Thor rolls his eyes and says, "You and me both." Thor asks if he's ever tried to escape, and Trey says no, there's no use without his powers. Thor looks out the window to see Pyramidus. Thor asks Trey how long it would take to get it running if they got out of the building. Trey says not long, the staff will re-energize the Zord, but it will take a lot of energy out of him, so if they get chased or caught, he won't be of much use in a fight. Thor says that's fine and he has a plan. Valkyrie comes in to visit Trey and Thor attempts to reach out to Valkyrie, but he doesn't want to hear it. He swipes a control remote and disarms the chips. He smashes the window in and him and Trey jump out the window. The Grandmaster is angry that the two escaped, but knows they'll be heading for the pyramid, so he sends all of his forces there. Thor and Trey reach the entrance of Pyramidus, but it's swarming with soldiers. Trey asks Thor how many he thinks he can take, and Thor says without his hammer, not many. Trey says that they need to switch up the plan. They'd be better off stealing a ship from the Grand Master. Thor agrees and they sneak back through the town, but they're caught by Valkyrie, and she tells them she wants to talk. She tells she wants in with the team, and she brought Thor a peace offering, and she reveals she has Loki tied up. The four work at escaping. They free the slaves and begin an uprising. Loki tries to betray Thor, but Thor is one step ahead. Thor, Trey and Valkyrie escape together, and Loki and Korg and Meek escape together too. Thor confronts Hela in the palace, while Trey and Valkyrie helps evacuate Asgard. The path ahead is blocked by Fenrir, and Scourge approaches with his army from behind. Trey focuses all of his power and raises his staff to the sky. A beam of light is shot into the sky, and after a moment a massive surge of lightning strikes Fenrir, and it knocks him off the bridge into the water below. Trey tells Heimdall and Valkyrie to start sending people through the Bifrost. Loki arrives and joins the battle. Thor unlocks his full power and blasts Hela, and then dives into the horde of undead soldiers. The team fight together, but Thor realizes that he can't beat Hela. Loki rushes off to start Ragnarok, while Thor and Trey distract Hela. Thor tells Korg to start loading people onto Loki's ship, and to get them out of there. Valkyrie tells Heimdall to go through with them. They'll need leadership until the other half of the population can reach them, and he agrees to go through, after bidding goodbye to his sword. The bridge is clear and Surtur erupts out of the palace, and Hela breaks off from Thor and Trey to attack him. Trey teleports them all onto the ship, and they escape while they watch Asgard explode. Thor is crowned king, and sets course for Earth, but their path is blocked by a familiar warship, and that is where this part ends. Thank you guys very much for watching. We're getting very close to the end now. If you like the videos, like, subscribe, go watch some of my other videos, and vote on the poll to see which story you want to see next. Again, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next Wednesday for Galactic Assault livestream. But until then, everyone, bye.